How's it going, guys? So, this video should be posted after I've unveiled that. I went ahead and got my dart back. However, we did run into an issue already. So, everyone knows, prior to the transmission going out, that we went ahead and, car was hydro-locked. We ended up having insurance go ahead and put in a new motor. However, I also had them go ahead and out of my own pocket put a new clutch, master slave cylinder, and shifter cable linkage, since the shop broke the linkage. But apparently it's an easy thing to break, but still that was out of my pocket, which sucks. But one of the things I did find, and I thought it was just clutch break-in, was going over a little over 4,000 RPMs, the car would sputter. And I figured that was just it slipping on the clutch. So transmission goes out while I'm babying it. Just went ahead and got a used transmission put into this. The new clutch, all the new stuff from the old one went over to this one. And, the other shop, because I won't be using that first shop anymore, the newer shop, which I'm very grateful for, told me that, I don't need to worry about it, go ahead and drive it like normal, beat it up a little bit, and on 2 counts it sputtered again. So now here I am narrowing it down, trying to figure out what's going on, because so far from what I've researched, so we're not touching the trans or anything like that, since everything should be good in there. But what we're going to go ahead and do is first take a look at our spark plugs, and then the other side of it as well is looking over the paperwork. It does turn out that the original shop we put the replacement motor in this used 5W30, which for a Dodge Dart with the 1.4 liter turbocharged motor, mind you, this is an Italian motor, it's boosted, these are very sensitive, you need to use the right things. In the old motor, the only oil I ever used since I got it was Pennzoil 5W40 Euro synthetic. By the paperwork that first shop had given me, they had put a blended synthetic, which, if you use blended, it's okay, but for boost, you can't skip out on oil. Oil circulating through the entire motor, just like with any motor, but still, turbocharged ones, definitely much more sensitive to almost anything. But we're gonna go ahead and dive in, take a look over the spark plugs, and I'm gonna show you guys, one, how to go ahead and change your spark plugs, and yeah, we'll go and show you how to change your oil too, I guess, because we're gonna go ahead and put the correct oil in there. Car's only been driving, prior to the transmission going out, it got to about 300 city driving miles. And since I got it back with the new transmission, we maybe just add about 80 miles into it. So let's go and take a look at those spark plugs. Let's see what that original shop did, if they cut any corners. And then we're gonna go and take a look at that oil, because that part does have me extremely concerned. So here we go. Alrighty, so here we are. So once you go and remove your engine cover, I don't roll with one because I have a oil catch can, and these tubes do block or interfere with the engine cover going ahead and laying flush. So we're leaving it off for now. We may have to fab up a little bit so we can just go ahead and cut it so those hoses can go ahead and fit properly. Now, I've already jumped ahead on here and unplugged a lot of these. We're gonna go ahead and just start with going ahead and explaining cylinder 1. So all of here are your connections. Come to discover that the shop ended up using everything from the old motor except for the actual block itself. So fuel lines, anything like that, they went ahead and just swapped it right back over. Insurance did require new things as far as like a water pump, oil cooler, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this. So the first thing you're gonna go ahead and need to do, I'm not gonna do this one-handed because I do care about my car. So you see this little hose right here, this oil line I believe it is, or vacuum line. We're gonna go ahead and get some pliers. You're just gonna go ahead and squeeze those together, slide it up, and then we're just gonna go ahead and just maneuver this off. to go ahead and make room to go ahead and get to our first bolt. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and set that one just to the side. Just make sure no debris gets inside of here. Alrighty, next thing to go ahead and get this off, we are going to need a 10mm wrench. Or, I'm sorry, a socket wrench. This makes life a lot easier, guys. I would recommend using impact tools. This isn't on there that tight. To go ahead and just loosen these. I always like just to break them, take that off, and then just quickly do that. Would suggest as a precaution, make sure your car is cooled down. Everything does get extremely warm underneath the hood, especially when we're going ahead and dealing with things that involve the combustion chamber. So now that that is off, we are going to go ahead and unplug this. We're going to go ahead and unplug this now. Like I mentioned before, right here, normally you would have a yellow tab on there that you'd have to go ahead and jig around a little bit. I have learned that flatheads do help a lot of times just going ahead and going from the back. But go ahead and maneuver it, try to be gentle with it. I mean, it stays on there, it stays connected, but having that extra precaution of making sure that the spark stays inside that coil pack is definitely going to be a necessity. But we're going to save that for another episode if we decide to upgrade these. So I'm just going to go ahead and just pop that off. Looks like dog hair, you know. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look. So these are a little snug, so you got to pull a little bit up on them. But that's your coil pack. So that little cable goes ahead and sends a electricity through here to the spark plug, which then goes ahead and ignites inside the cylinder, going ahead and giving you whatever horsepower your motor's creating and continuously doing it so it does get warm inside of there. Now we're gonna go and take a quick look and see what this spark plug is looking like. To go ahead and get that spark plug out, what am I using? I am using a 5x18, I believe. It can also be a 12mm. Given the garage I'm currently in, we're just gonna go ahead and use this because it works just fine. So you're gonna go ahead and just insert it. You're gonna feel around, get that little bit of tension, and you're just gonna work it slowly. You don't wanna be too aggressive trying to break it open. Once again, just like with the coil pack, go ahead and break it loose, do it by hand. Now, a actual spark plug socket does come very well in hand when doing this. That is not what I'm using currently because I make horrible decisions. But we're gonna go ahead and loosen that up enough to where it feels like it's just kind of moving around loosely like that and pop it up. Now here's one of my concerns that I've been finding within these cylinders. You see that? That's oil. This motor just got replaced. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that spark plug and hopefully it looks a little bit better than this. Now, if you do not have a spark plug socket, you can go ahead and use one of these lovely little magnet tools that extend out, a magnet pen, or whatever you want to call it. You get it at AutoZone for just a couple bucks, or just your local automotive store. So you're gonna go ahead and just go in there. It might catch the sides a little bit, just kind of get in there and then pull it up. Careful, it may be warm still. So this is the part where we're concerned with what the shop has done on their end as far as the quality of spark plug that they have used. Like I said, we're looking at about maybe 500 miles done on this car, and we're seeing some pretty dark edges, not what I like to see. Alrighty, so I went ahead and took out all 4 spark plugs. I do want you guys to go ahead and take a look at this. I am not happy with the way that these spark plugs are looking, given that insurance has spent so much money on the new motor, and I have been without the car for nearly 4 months. And this is what I'm seeing, which this could be a result of why the car has been sputtering. So let me go ahead and show you guys real quick. So here are our spark plugs, range from first cylinder all the way to fourth cylinder. We're gonna go ahead and show a little bit of light, so it's getting a little bit dark here. So first cylinder, not looking too bad. I'm still a little concerned with that, darkness at the top this early on. Second cylinder, however, you are seeing is oil on there. That is not a very good sign. That has me concerned that possibly the O-rings are already going out in that motor. Third cylinder, looking okay, still a little dark for my taste. Fourth cylinder, definitely not liking how it's looking. It did have some of the oil on there as well. That did actually end up coming off on my finger. Now, the type of spark plug that these are, we're gonna grab the coolest one so I don't burn my hand. The brand is called Champion. Part number RA2PYPB. I have never heard of this company before. As you can tell in pictures as well, comparing what the spark plug for this vehicle should have. Now, I went ahead and purchased some laser iridium NGK R1s. This did go ahead and set me back about 50 bucks for about all four, like I mentioned before. Turbo cars require very specific things, and if you want them to last a while, you don't want to be using these little $6 a piece spark plugs. Now to compare, here is a beautiful shiny NGK R1 compared to how the other one does look. What you're gonna go ahead and do here, I already went ahead and put in cylinders 2 through 4 already. We're gonna go and show you first cylinder. So all you're gonna go ahead and do is evaluate it. Make sure everything looks correct on there, nothing looks torn or anything. You got your washer on top, and then all you're gonna go ahead and do is just go ahead and drop it in. You're gonna go ahead and grab the same socket that you went ahead and use. I am gonna go ahead and wipe this off though. I don't wanna risk going ahead and putting whatever grime or anything like that was on in that little chamber anyways. My goodness. This is very hard one-handed, by the way, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and pause for a second while I go ahead and get this cleaned up. All clean. Just gonna go ahead. Once again, just like when removing it, go ahead and just slide it in there, feel for it, make sure everything's good, and just start doing it by hand. You don't need to hit it with the socket just yet, or excuse me, the wrench just yet. Socket, wrench, whatever you want to call it. Alrighty, and once it feels like you can't get it anymore without putting a lot of force into it, go ahead and grab your socket wrench. Go ahead, clip it on there. And you don't want to go too tight with it. It doesn't require a lot. I always do it till it feels like it's just resisting to the point, as if, just slowly. And that feels good enough to me. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is you'll go ahead and do the rest. Same way, go ahead and remove that 10mm bolt. Go ahead and disconnect it. Pop up that coil pack. Loosen it. Use your magnet toe if you don't have a socket or a spark plug socket. And go ahead and do it for all four. Now, big thing to remember, you do want to make sure you plug all of your coil packs back in, or else you will have a misfire. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that right on back in there. Grab our 10mm bolt that was originally in there. Gonna go ahead and just do a little hand tight. Gotta be gentle. Motors are sensitive, especially one with a beautiful little Garrett turbo just chilling right there. Ain't no big thing, but that's okay. You still produce some boost, 22 pounds to be exact. And that's stock, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful, beautiful little car. I love this thing. But yeah, you're gonna go ahead and just tighten it down with the coil packs. Once again, you don't need to do it super tight. You can go ahead and do it hand tight and then go ahead and hit it with a socket wrench. You don't have to do it like you're doing wheels or anything. Just go ahead and do it to where, you know, it starts giving a little bit of resistance, and then you're good. One thing not to forget as well is that hose that we did go ahead and disconnect. We do want to make sure we go ahead and put that right back on there. I would recommend going ahead and doing this either once you're done with all 4, or at least when you get done with cylinders 1 and 2 for clearance purposes. Alrighty, and with that, that's already complete. Once again, make sure to do a once over. Make sure all your sockets or all your plugs are pushed all the way in. Make sure all your bolts are tidy, neat. And once again, like I said, make sure that hose does get connected back on there. But yeah, you can go ahead and start up the car. Definitely go ahead and keep an eye on it. Spark plugs are very important. With these ones specifically, like I mentioned, this is a turbocharged car. They do recommend changing these every 30,000 miles. Just given with the high intensity of that combustion chamber. Anyways, I can't talk. It's late. Not really, actually. It's still daytime outside, but it's been a long day. But yeah, make sure to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if it went ahead and gave you a little bit of insight on how to change your spark plugs. Comment below, and we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit more of this routine maintenance just to show you guys how the Caribbean Viking goes ahead and does it. But yeah, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. Everyone who's been following the Dart page, or not the Dart page, but just the Dart project in general. I appreciate it very, very much. So from all of us at Desert Octane, we appreciate you. Catch you on the next one.